Installing an LS engine and 4L70E transmission in a 1980 Camaro. This is the engine mount kit that we're going to use. It's from Trans-Dapt. It's the 4203. It is specifically for swapping an LS engine into a 1975 to 1981 Camaro. The next thing we have to do is mark one hole that is not already in our frame and drill it. And we're starting out with that bolt to see if we can get it in there and get a nut started on the back. So we got that bolt in, and we've got the other three in. And this is a look from the bottom side of the new hole, showing how it was hard to get the nut in there, and the only way to hold it up there was with a pair of needle nose pliers. And now Dylan is getting on the back side of a different one of the bolts. He's using a 3/8 drive breaker bar with a socket on the end of it, as shown here. And when that doesn't work, because there are places where it won't fit, needle nose pliers holding a nut is the only thing left you can do. Okay, here's a look at the engine mounts, the part that attaches to the engine, and showing that to our disappointment, this one was bent. The floor is flat, the engine mount is not. And here's a different look at that same mount, showing about how much it's bent. Now that is not good. It causes alignment problems and attachment problems, so we've got to straighten them out. And here's a look on a flat surface. The bottom is solidly against the base. This shows just how much one of the mounting tabs is bent from the factory. This is how it came. Okay, so how do you straighten that out? Well, this is how we did it. A few whacks with a big sledgehammer, and then a couple more corrective whacks, and then checking it with a straight edge, and lo and behold, at this point we had gotten it straightened out. So this is something that I recommend. Go ahead and pre-attach the two parts of the mounts that attach to the engine. Go ahead and attach them to the parts that attach to the frame. You may find that the tabs are squeezed too close together and that you have to bend them apart. That's what the case was for us. And also be sure and check the mounts for flatness. And if they're not flat, you got to straighten them out. Okay, so here we are attaching to the driver's side of the engine. There are four bolts. And they need to be a little bit loose because the bracket needs to be able to move around a bit once you have the engine in the bay. What we're looking at here is the actual attachment points for the chains on the engine. At the very top of the heads on the back. In the front, it's a different story. There's some delicate points that could be damaged by the chain. So we attach to a lower bolt hole, as I'm pointing out right here and right here. And here is installing an engine and transmission in a 1980 Camaro in exactly 60 seconds. So we rolled it forward, then we tilted it down because it's kind of got to go down and then re-level out. So you'll see there's a lot of looking underneath to make sure that we're clearing this and that, and then looking on top to make sure we're clearing stuff up there and then going back under. It's just a lot of that kind of stuff. This actual process took us probably about 15 minutes total. And that included a couple of dead periods where we just were talking about, okay, what do we need to do now? Okay, so here's the transmission mount kit from Trans-Dapt. It's designed to work with the engine mounts so that you end up with your engine and transmission at the right angle. And this is opening the box and finding out what's in the kit. There's a couple of little brackets that attach to the frame rails, a rubber isolator that attaches to the transmission, and a spacer. And here's a look at the Crossmember that goes from one frame rail to the other. In this point, I'm showing how there are a couple of pockets that almost seem to be designed to trap oil and dirt. Okay, so now Dylan is attaching the rubber isolator to the bottom of the 4L70E transmission. So I'm pointing out here that there is some forward and backward movement you can do with the rubber isolator as just a very easy way to make sure that it wasn't twisted. We just slid it as far forward as we could. I do not know if there's any pros and cons to where you put it, but that's what we did. We just slid it as far forward as we could. Okay, so final tightening, and then we will get on with installing that crossmember. All right, so here's the sort of the final installation of the crossmember. This is getting ready to figure out where to attach the side brackets. So we lowered the transmission down onto the crossmember and put some bolts in place, because the funny thing is you're using the transmission to figure out where to position the crossmember. Later, the crossmember will dictate where the transmission is. And in this scene, we are having to rethread the holes in the crossmember because they had bits of welding splatter attached to them, and they weren't good threads. And so, we had to retap them, which I definitely don't think you should have to do. And that enabled us to get the bolts in for holding these side brackets to the crossmember. Okay, so after positioning the crossmember exactly how we wanted it, we had figured out where the holes go, and then we came in and drilled the holes. Obviously, the process is the same for all 4 holes on both sides. And then this is where we had to get a little bit creative and use our 3/8 drive breaker bar to hold the nut on the back side, because we didn't really want to drill an additional hole on the other side of the frame rail. So what we did was just hold the nut in place and start the bolt. And it wasn't quite as easy as it looks in this video, but there's a look at both nuts on the inside of the frame and how we got them attached. And at this point, we're done with attaching the crossmember, and we're doing final positioning of the transmission. We wanted to make sure it was perfectly centered left and right. And so just using a measuring tape, and you have to reference something. So we reference the frame rails. What we can say is the transmission is perfectly centered between the frame rails, and that our crossmember is truly at a right angle to both of the frame rails. And that's the best we could do. Okay, so here we're just showing how we use that same 3/8 drive breaker bar and a socket to hold the nuts still while tightening up the motor mount bolts. The whole procedure is you leave everything loose until everything is in place, and then you get to go ahead and tighten them up. So that worked on both of the top 2 bolts for this particular mount. And then here's coming in from the bottom side and showing that in some places we had to use a wrench. Okay, here's our first look at the fully installed LS engine. Obviously, we have a long way to go. And here's a look at something we didn't know. The question was, how much clearance will there be to the frame rail, or are we going to even have to use some different oil pan? Thankfully, the answer for us was we have a ton of clearance to our crossmember, so we were good. The last thing we're going to look at, and if you have a 2nd generation Camaro, your reward for sticking with me so far, is a clearance problem between the stock water pump and the upper control arm of the suspension. Those 2 heater hose barbs do not have enough room between them and the upper A arm of the suspension. I don't know how you address that if you're going to use the stock water pump. What we did, not because of this problem, but just because we wanted to, was to use a Holley accessory mounting kit that includes a water pump. The outlets are different. They're a better fit. Thank you very much for watching.